Hey guys, thanks for opening the mod manual. We're going to go over mechanisms 5 times or duplicating today. All the timestamps are in the description, so you can jump to different chapters or different sections of the videos if you feel like I'm hovering on a topic too much, especially something like the materials list where I'm just giving you some tips and you just need the items. Speaking of material lists, we're going to need 32 thermal evaporation blocks, 2 thermal evaporation valves, 1 thermal evaporation controller, and then you have to choose between getting 4 advanced solar generators, or we can use a resistive heater. I think the resistive heater is a little cheaper, but at the same time, you don't need any wiring for the advanced solar generator, so that's up to you. Then we're gonna need a source of power, right? So have that in the back of your head that you're gonna need to power the system somehow. The generator and the resistive heater are just there to power the thermal evaporation plant. You're going to need separate power to power all these machines. Then we're going to go over the pipes. We're going to need 17 universal cables, 14 pressurized tubes, 6 mechanical pipes, 2 logistical transporters, 2 barrels, 3 sinks or some sort of like infinite water source, a way to pump into the system quickly. And then you're also going to need a tool, the configurator, so make sure you have that. Next, and these are in rows and in order, so you want to kind of keep them in order to help you. And if you need help with that, you could always open your JEI and then press your bookmark button. The default is A, and you can kind of organize them on the side. Now, you can't have 2 of one, right? Like, so you're going to need 2 infusers, at least 2, or you're going to need 3 actually. But it can kind of keep them here in the order, and you can move them in, and it's real easy to reflect and organize. In addition, you could also just, write them down or pause the video. I suggest you do that. Pause the video on the side and slow it down for the parts you need. That's the point of the video, is the fast forward rewind, so I shouldn't have to go too slow. All right, here we go. We're gonna go over the back row, the one closest to the thermal evaporation plant. You'll see the chemical injection chamber. You're gonna need 1 chemical oxidizer, a chemical infuser, another chemical infuser, so 2 total, a rotary condensator, and then you're gonna need an electrolytic separator, another chemical infuser, so that'll be 3, and then another electrolytic separator, so that will be 2 electrolytic separators. I'll keep those on the side so you can see. And then on the next row, you're going to need a chemical dissolution chamber, a chemical washer, a chemical crystallizer, a chemical injection chamber, purification chamber, a crusher, an enrichment chamber, and an energized smelter. And as far as upgrades go, we're going to need 8 full stacks of energy upgrades and 8 full stacks of speed upgrades if you want everything to be max. Of course, you're doing it in survival. You probably won't have these ultimate versions. You'll probably have lesser versions, and it'll be a lot more practical while you're building it. And we're going to build it in phases. But for this video, I'm going to show you just the recipe to make a perfect system for the creative players or the people who are just working towards that goal or already have resources. Because to be honest with you, by the time you make a 5 times ore processing, you have a lot of resources unless you're beelining to it and you're using it to make more resources. So keep that in mind. Let's get to the actual build. Here we go. So we're gonna need to put some thermal evaporation blocks down in a 4x4 base. I put blocks on each corner and then build up 2 sides like this. And I leave a space on one and 2 spaces on the other so I can put down the valve and the controller. I don't need to put anything in the corners, but I do need to put 2 on the sides, and then I can use the advanced solar generators here, and that will be enough power for this. Alternatively, I can put another valve in on the side and add that resistive heater and connect power to that.
Perfect.
Awesome, now I'm gonna come to the front of the thermal evaporation plant, and I'm gonna switch my hot bars out. I could bind them and save them, but I kinda want you to see me switch them out. Then I'm going to take my mechanical pipes and I'm going to put them in front of the thermal evaporation plant, placing 2 right in front of the valves. Now I'm going to take my configurator, and you see these little slots. There's little segments right here. I'm going to find one of them and I'm going to hit them 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and they'll disappear. And this will get rid of the connection. If you do not do this, the water will get into this and then it'll get into the machines and it'll just be a mess of dumping and whatnot. So just keep that in mind and make sure you do that. Next, we're gonna have to put our power supply down. So I'm gonna come out 1 block from the leftmost valve. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm gonna come over here to the end. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. You know you did it right if you're 1 off on this edge here. Then from that one, I'm going to go out 5 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. Also, if you did it right, everything should look like this.
Perfect.
All right, next we're going to look at the processes. I like to start on the back row. So it'll be the chemical injection chamber, the chemical oxidizer, a chemical infuser, another chemical infuser, a rotary condensator, a electrolytic separator, a chemical infuser, and then another electrolytic separator. I already went over those in the beginning, but I'm just giving the order again. It's extremely important. All right, here we go. Chemical injection chamber, oxidizer, infuser, rotary condensator, electrolytic separator, infuser, and then an electrolytic separator. In that order. Next, we're going to do the next row. Chemical dissolution chamber, chemical washer, crystallizer, injection chamber, purification chamber, crusher, enrichment chamber, and then we have our energized smelter for the last step. Dissolution chamber, washer, crystallizer, injection chamber, purification chamber, crusher, enrichment chamber, smelter. Nice.
Perfect.
So all the machines are down, and a lot of the piping is down, and so is the thermal evaporation plant. All right, next we're going to put our pipes down on the top. So for our gases, I'm going to put one right on top. I hold shift of this electrolytic separator, and then I'm going to point right at this little piece. That's what I like to do. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't really have to count because you're just going to go all the way to the end. And then I take this chemical infuser and I put one right behind it, and then one right on top of it, and then I put one right beside that one. And I get on the other side of it, right? I'll just come to the side. There we go. We've got all of that pipe laid. Next, we're going to put our sinks down. Here's one, and I'll connect our mechanical pipes to that. Here's 2. Connect our mechanical pipes to that. And then here's that third one. It's actually going to go, watch it, you can see the shadows. Just like that. If you mess that up, it wouldn't be bad. Just break it and place it on that one. All right. Now, we're going to set up our barrels. So this will be for our gunpowder. And this will be where our final product comes out. Now we're going to do some configuring on the pipes. I like to just come right over here first and just change this one. And I'm going to make this one, look, there's this little segment. That's what I'm clicking right on the front. I'm going to go 1. That makes it go into that piece. 2. That makes it come out. It pulls it out. And if I clicked it again, it would lose all its connection, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to come over here. Again, click it once. That's pushing into this item. And then I'm pulling out of the item. I'm not going to say it for this because you see. Awesome. Now, we have to get rid of these connections. This part can be tricky, and if you already have power to your system and then you set this up, it can be so hectic. So I suggest you don't have power to the system before you do all this. Okay? Here we go. I'm going to find one of these segments between these two, and I'm going to click it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I didn't hold shift. 1, 2, 3. I have to hold shift. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter if I do the other one. 1, 2, 3. Nice. We're all set up. There's one more. 1, 2. You don't really have to do it there. I'm just showing you. And everything else looks all set up. Just checking my connections. Looks good. Looks good. Oh, a little sneaky one. This is why you look. Right here. 1. And that's brine going into this electrolytic separator.
Perfect.
Awesome. Now we're going to configure all of our machines. This part's a little tricky, so just pay attention. I start here first with this electrolytic separator. I right click. The first thing you're going to want to do is make it dumping excess on both sides. So we're dumping excess on both sides, and then we're going to hit this side config button. Then we're going to hit chemicals. It is extremely important that you hit this twice. 1, 2. You need it to be the light blue side, or the teal, I guess, on this top output. Then I'm going to do front. I'm going to change it to output. I don't know why this doesn't default, but you need to make sure that this is on. We're going to go right down the line. Next, we go to the side config. We're going to go to, it's already in it, in the chemicals. And we're going to go, we need this to be outputting. So it's going to output hydrogen chloride. Then we're going to go over to this separator and we're going to make sure that this is dumping excess. Right down the list. Now we're onto the rotary condensator. We need to switch it so it's making water vapor. Go to the one right beside it. I'm just going to it to show you that it's there. We do not need to do anything to it. And then we're going to go to the diffuser right beside it. So the diffuser right beside it is to make sure it's taking that chemical from the back. So we'll just input it and make sure you input it on this orange one and not on the other one. And then this right one, we're going to turn it to an output. So it should be blue now. So it's going to put that into right beside it. Now I'm going to go to this oxidizer, open it up, and then I go to the chemicals tab and we're going to turn on the auto eject. And then I'm going to go to this chemical injection chamber. I'm going to go to the side config. And then it's really important that I turn on this back one to input so that the gunpowder will go into the back. And I'm going to go to auto eject. Now the front. These two already have auto eject on for chemicals. They're good. This one needs the auto eject on for items. And this one too. In fact, they all do. Awesome. Now all the configuring is set up. The last thing we need to do is attach the power, give it gunpowder, and since we made this in creative mode with the max cables, we have to wait till the cables fill up, at least for this design. I think when you do it in survival mode, it's not the same because you build into this, but going straight to it, it takes a minute for these cables to fill up. They have their own inventory. So if you don't have time for them to fill up, you can always just put a little pipe down right here and that'll speed it up a lot. It can also happen with the oxygen if it's not built up. Now is a great time to attach our power, and we're going to put gunpowder in this supply barrel right here to start it. Then while that's doing that, we're building up sulfuric acid, which can take time. We're going to upgrade all of our machines. It's going to take the speed and the energy. Once everything's all upgraded, I'm going to put some iron ore into the dissolution chamber in the beginning of this front row, right beside the sink, and it's going to run down and it's going to 5 times duplicate the ore that I put in. Cool, let's see how it's going.
Perfect.
Thank you for opening the mod manual. I hope this helps with your ore duplicating goals. Please like and subscribe for other modded content. I'm going to try to get some stages out on Mekanism 5 times so it's not just creative friendly, but for now, I thought this was a good start.